Hello. Welcome to the Fantasy Footy Pod. Thanks for joining us today. Wesley Collett, what are you laughing at?
Shoot, mate.
I like my intro.
Chill.
The listeners like my intro. Thank you for joining us.
It's
My name's
the
Adam
same
Tinian.
every week.
That's just it's my thing. Do you know how hard it is to intro a podcast? Michael, give us the intro, please.
Can't you make your thing different?
Give us Michael Ross, say it next to me. Please give us the intro to this week's podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Football Podcast with Adam Tinian.
Wesley Collett is here next to me,
Collett.
as well as
Hello.
Mr. Ross. And I've got Mr. McAvoy as always.
Hey.
Right, so a lot of things happened this week. Not that much on the pitch, to be fair. I actually didn't watch Saturday's match of the day, but looking at the scores, 0-0, 0-0, 0-1, 0-1, 0-2.
What are you talking about?
I think we'll give that a miss.
It's 10-7 at the moment.
10-7, yeah, we got the snooker on as we're recording. We're recording today on a
Bank Holiday Monday.
What day is it today?
Bank Holiday Monday.
1st of May, Bank Holiday
I
Monday.
got so confused. I thought it was Sunday. It's a Bank Holiday Monday recording, and
Mayday.
so it's only 2 o'clock as a recording time. So we're way off the Liverpool game this evening. So we're not going to be able to bring you any
cares
information
about
from Liverpool versus
honestly?
Watford. But
Prediction of 1-4 to Liverpool.
1-4 to Liverpool. You think so?
Yeah.
Well, Watford on
20
the
to
beach
1 in the
today,
bookies.
but there's a few sort of title challenge things to talk about. But I want to talk about Joe Barton. I want to get your guys' opinion on it. We're not going to talk about the Burnley game. Good win at Leicester. At Palace. Annoying for me because I've got 3 Palace players and Benteke as captain, and Palace with a 0. Annoying. What do we think about it? You know the full story, right? Joe Barton's been banned for 18 months. He's 34 years old. Effectively ends his career, which is what he said. Too harsh?
Can I just say first, is anyone surprised that it's Jerry Barton that's involved in this?
No.
He's
Not
always
at all.
irritated me. He's just a nuisance in football.
Piegate. No one's talking about that so much. I heard someone bring that up on TalkSport the other day, but it's not been mentioned in the same breath. That guy lost his job because of the betting thing.
In all seriousness, I think that if you're affiliated with any sport, you shouldn't be manipulating the bets.
Especially
Or the
when
betting
it's against the
system.
rules, and he knows the rules.
Especially when it's on your own team as well. Even though it's silly bet, £3 he bet on himself to score the first goal scorer in one of his matches.
On
But
his
still,
own game.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
Now, the things to say about this is to have all the information. He did bet on his own team, but he never bet on his own team to lose. There's a fine line distinction there, but I still think either way you're breaking the rules. So, just because you didn't bet on your team. Because if you bet on your team to lose, then you can manipulate the outcome, can't you? If you bet on your team to win, there's nothing you can do about that. It's still what happens on the pitch.
I'll give him a bit of credit and say at least he's come out and apologised and said, yeah, I know I'm wrong. I've just got an addiction. Maybe I just need a bit of help.
The thing is, his bets aren't massive.
No, it was
What-
tiny
what
little
is he
things.
doing?
And clearly he doesn't
It's
need the
an
money.
addiction.
So therefore it is an addiction for him, isn't it? Clearly he needs some help there. Do we think that the FA should be helping players more? I mean, we've seen over the years, think about in the 90s, the Arsenal players that used to go and get drunk every night, or they call it the Thursday Club or something, when the Mersons and the Adams used to get drunk. And there's all these rehabilitation clinics for sports people set up independently. It seems that the FA doesn't do enough. And maybe it's not their responsibility, you might say. But then again, we're talking about millionaire teenagers who are not getting what they need from life, really. They're not getting enough sort of guidance in how they should act and spend their money. All it seems to be is you've got to say the right things to appease the sponsors on the camera. Nothing about...
They've all got families. This is what families do and support people with.
Yeah.
I can understand if it was someone that didn't have the friends, the family to support them if they were earning £1 million a week and they went off, I don't know, gallivanting around the world and ruin their life. But there's people around people like Joey Barton, when they were younger, to give them guidance. That's what your parents and family do.
It's nothing to do with earnings either. An addiction's completely different, isn't it? So
of course,
his ban is because he broke the rules, and that's what's set out to be done. I think, for me personally, it's fair.
Forgetting the character of the man, obviously we're not fans of him really on this podcast. He's a bit of an idiot, the guy. And if you think about the things he's done throughout his career, do you remember that he put the cigar out on a youth team player's eye? Come on, when he was at Man City.
It's a piece of work.
What an idiot!
But forgetting the character of the man, just taking the offence into account, do you think that the sentence is too harsh?
No, not really.
No.
It's an 18-month ban.
But let's compare that to Suarez and John Terry, who were accused of the racial stuff, being racist, whatever. They were banned for like 7 or 8 games. Eric Cantona kicked a fan in the crowd, was banned for 6 months, 7 months, something like that. Look at perspective from previous bans.
You're talking
large
about
bans.
something that's happened in the heat of the moment. You can lose your head. stress of the game, whatever you want to put it down to. It's just one-off thing. Joey Barton's. They're talking about something
many
for years
bets.
of it, isn't it? Yeah,
1,200
years of betters,
And it's planned, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
So like Lee says, it's you're knowingly taking that kind of thing. When you like you say, if you're on the pitch, and you've got someone behind you calling you all kinds of things. I mean, karate kick was probably the best thing I've ever seen. But like, you know,
what's Eric Cantona's highlight of his career? The karate kick.
Absolutely,
He hates it because that has actually become the highlight of his career, isn't it?
So I actually saw someone sent me a tweet on this. On the Joey Barton thing, and Joey Barton sent out a tweet. His Twitter name's Joey7 Barton, as if 7 is important to him or something. Like
he must have been number 7 at some point.
He must have been number 7, but
no idea.
Anyway, so it said he tweeted this. So thanks for the many, spelt incorrectly with 2 N's.
Okay.
Messages of support.
The Manny.
The Manny messages of support. I have breached FA rules. I have been honest with my reasons. Fair enough. Many agree the punishment is over the top. Can I just say the first response to that tweet was, "Any tips for tonight, mate?" Well done, that person.
Does he have any tips? He didn't reply.
He didn't reply.
I love it.
He's put don't bell me to be first goal scorer for a while.
I mean, the bad news this, of course, is that he's probably going to be doing way more media work, so we're going to see him on our TV probably more than we have been on the pitch.
Do you think he'd get the media work?
He had a fair bit, even before.
Given that he's been banned for
he'll get low key
effectively
stuff,
match fixing.
He's not going to get match of the day, but he's going to get.
I think
he's going to be around.
I think that's an important distinction, actually, Mike. Match fixing is a way more severe thing, and we've seen it in other sports. You've got to kind of go along with the facts of what he did bet on.
But it still can be seen as match fixing. You're aware of that, like saying, I know he's betting on his team to win, but putting himself to score first, that's match fixing.
It probably
could be a penalty. I'm going to take that. That's match fixing.
Yeah, okay.
Going to get a yellow card. Match fixing.
Okay.
It'd probably do the football ramble. Ooh, cheap dig.
Sounds like a dig, mate. Sounds like a dig. Right, let's move on. Let's get onto the pitch, shall we, this week? Because there was nothing else that came out in the media this week. Was there anything about John Terry? I'm not too sure. Let's move on. Let's talk about...
it wasn't John Terry, was it?
Let's talk about Spurs versus Arsenal. How the Spurs fans are loving rubbing this in. I mean, let's have some perspective. It's the first time in 22 years. Come on.
Well, we've just all watched the video, haven't we, of Wenger
apparently
storming out of his interview.
But
he went because he was getting pissed off with the Spurs questions.
Oh, the questions, relentless.
Are Spurs better than you? Spurs are finishing above you for the first time. How does that make you feel?
When you love it,
it's the same
day,
question in about 3 different ways.
When you love it one day for him to just go, yeah, Spurs are better. Yeah, what do you want me to say? Spurs are better. They're second in the league.
For the fans,
they've got better players. They are better.
Do you want an arm wrestle to decide whether who's better?
Do you know the only thing I will agree with the commentator here. So I know he's asking a lot of them questions, but I've got a lot of Arsenal fans on our Facebook. We've got a lot of mutual friends, and
including our Windows man.
That question, and I know he answered it well, Wenger, to say we don't focus on finishing above Tottenham. We focus on winning the league. That's a really valid point. But every Tottenham game, every time Tottenham are lower than Arsenal, the one thing that's focused in from an Arsenal fan, I mean, I'm going to summarise this for everyone, is we're better than Spurs.
True.
Oh, again, we've won it at White Hart Lane twice. We're through to the FA Cup final. You can't even do that. This is their moment. Like, truthfully, for them, being above Arsenal is probably a big deal for them.
I agree with you.
So why wouldn't the commentator keep asking that question? Because that's what people want to hear.
And then they still get slated for it, don't they? Well, it's happened once in 20 years. Come back to us when you've won 2 titles and you've won this and you've won that.
You know full well that if Arsenal won that game, all you would have seen on social media is we've beat them again. Tottenham. Beat them in their own yard again. Their last game, done them, whatever.
Yeah.
Ended their title hopes, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We were, Lee and I watched the game yesterday, and we were talking a little bit, it's kind of fantasies, talking about on the pitch for a second, and I don't really want to kind of say that this is a transfer of power from North London, because it might sound like a stupid statement right now, but with Arsenal not in the Champions League next year, they could have a genuine tilt at the title, as proven by the last 2 seasons of winners, including Chelsea this year and Leicester. But we were having a bit of a joke, weren't we, Lee, saying, look at the players that they signed. Look at the fact what Sissoko was, 30 mil?
Yep.
Kante was, 35 mil? Now, maybe Kante was unavailable. Maybe he only wanted Chelsea. Maybe that's why there was more of a struggle to get him. But can you imagine if Spurs had signed him instead of Wanyama? And then we were saying about Griezmann, weren't we? Like,
Griezmann in for Son.
My question was, and I'll put this question to you too, where is a weakness in Spurs' first 11? Who would you replace? Let's say, forgetting the Ronaldos and Messis for a second, like the ridiculous transfers that will never happen, who in world football is available that could improve any of the
Realistic
first
transfers.
11 of Spurs right now?
I think Vertonghen's the only player that could be replaced.
Do you really think so?
Possibly
we
De
actually
Gea for
disputed this yesterday, didn't we?
Lloris as well.
Well,
Lloris is pretty. Yeah, he's
I
top
think De
three
Gea and
goal
Lloris, I
assister
think
for it.
the difference in quality is not a lot. You said that as well, Lee, didn't you, about Vertonghen,
I said
actually?
Vertonghen's very good. Alderweireld's the
key
irreplaceable
man,
one.
Yeah, he's outstanding.
Vertonghen's very good partner, but you could find better.
But legitimately, I mean, Vertonghen's very good.
But
And
he is good. I don't think you want to break that
fullbacks
up
are
right now.
unbelievable. Wanyama and Dembele, I'd take Dembele in any squad in the world right now. I think he's absolutely. He didn't even start yesterday.
Yeah.
I think he's a
outstanding,
brilliant
yeah.
centre midfielder.
But
Yeah, the front three behind Kane, I think, are brilliant.
There's quite a few players called Dembele that are floating about. I think a Premier League team should sign all the Dembeles.
So a Dembele 11.
Dembele 11.
There is actually a lot of Dembele.
There's a lot of Dembele.
But there's also a lot of Sissokus, so maybe you could have a Sissoko versus Dembele.
Oh, I love
Let's
it.
do it. A charity game.
I love it.
which Dembele was the Moussa Dembele, wasn't it? The other Moussa Dembele that
The
came
Celtic.
from Fulham. Did he go to Celtic?
Celtic.
He's Celtic striker
Because
this
Spurs
season.
nearly
Yeah.
signed him, and that would have been amazing.
It would have been amazing. Yeah,
Dembele
two
to
Moussa
Dembele.
Moussa Dembele.
Say it again. Ben Dembele.
But I actually like Tottenham this year. I think they just look good as a team. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, they are.
As soon
Yeah,
as they kicked off in the first 10 minutes, Arsenal were getting it handed to them.
They were. I mean, listening to the commentary afterwards, and they were saying it could have been 6, and they missed a couple of sitters.
Oxlade-Chamberlain physically couldn't deal with Son.
Mm.
Like he's incredible.
When he wants to, when he's on it.
When he's on it,
He's
yeah.
been on it for basically every game.
He
so
has
far,
been for
hasn't he?
about 2 months at least. You know. Do you know the stats about Eriksen as well? Did he get an assist yesterday?
Yes.
Because I know before yesterday he was 11 assists and 5 goals in the last 12 games.
He got an assist in Premier League
But-
in the
but
game,
not
in the
officially,
Fantasy League,
yeah.
so I don't know if he has.
Oh, it was
I'm not
the
sure.
shot that got rebounded, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
He was
That was a
unlucky
save by
not
the
to
keeper.
score as well. To be fair,
Yeah, he was.
him to hit the bar from there is just
Yeah,
kind of
Talking
shocking.
about Eriksen for a minute, and I mean, I think it's unlikely that anyone's going to leave Spurs this summer. But the rumours with Barcelona, do you think Eriksen could do a job there?
I think he
No.
could,
Maybe take place of Iniesta?
I think someone maybe Rakitic
Yeah.
could replace him. I like Rakitic.
I don't
but
think he'll go though.
I think you're right there, but do you think he's the sort of player they're looking at, or are there better players than Eriksen in that creative role?
I personally
anywhere
think
else?
He's one of the
his
best
age,
passes in the world.
yeah, I think with his age, he's top 5 in his position.
Yeah.
It sounds
Given his
like
age.
we're talking about Tottenham as future champions of the Premier League next year.
could be.
Do we all think that they're going to keep hold of their players?
Yes.
I do, yes.
Why wouldn't they?
Who
Well,
doesn't want to play
they've
for
signed
Poch right now?
long-term contracts, and they
Yes.
could get a lot of money for
They
Ali,
could.
Dele Alli.
Dele Alli.
Dele Alli.
and
I
Harry Kane.
honestly think that
You think Harry Kane's not going to United or a Chelsea?
No, I
a
don't.
bigger club.
I think the Pogba 89 million. I think Dembele. I think that Ali and Kane would be worth more than that. I think both the fullbacks would be world record fullback signings. I think Shaw is the world record fullback, isn't he? 30 mil. I think they'd be way more, double than that. I think both of them.
It's the same situation as Suarez at Liverpool. Having come second, they've built a team that's challenging for the title.
Yeah, but your
Yeah.
team was only Suarez.
and the,
Not really, because you've got Sturridge, you've got
I
Sterling,
think
you've
the
got
key
a
difference-
decent squad of players there.
And the key difference, I think, is that the superstars have kind of grown through the team. Okay, I know Ali came from Milton Keynes,
he's
but a
still
lot of the
young
players
enough.
were through that youth system, and he's still young enough to have been embedded with the young players there. And I think that's the difference there. I
Well,
don't think we've
Carl-
seen this since
was Carl
Newcastle
Walker?
92. Carl Walker wasn't he?
Spurs?
Maybe
they,
not.
They,
but
they bought Danny Rose, I know, from Leeds, but they bought him as a 16-year-old.
they're genuine.
Dembele's not always been there. Wanyama's not
No,
always been
okay,
there.
all right. I see your point.
So
I see your point. And this, to me, it seems like the closest comparison to the class of '92 of the amount of players that are young that have come through a kind of youth system, inverted commas, because a lot of them went out on loan. You know what I'm saying?
And if you follow a lot of them outside of football, they are a very close unit.
Yeah, they look like it, don't they?
Right.
well, they do these special handshakes, don't they, when they score a goal?
They're all in a
Oh,
similar
really?
age
You've
bracket
gotta
as
be
well.
close, haven't you?
There's not a lot
They
of
all-
years between them.
They all
Yeah.
genuinely hang out. I know but that makes a big part of a club. You know,
Yeah.
that's a big
Yeah, but
decision of whether you
le-
leave or not.
Money talks. Money
Mm.
talks at the end of the day, and I can see Real Madrid or Barcelona coming.
Maybe.
Haven't Barcelona now their transfer ban has ended?
I think he is this summer. Yeah.
So they've got money to spend.
But isn't
Yeah.
the point of any kind of business, or whether it's football or business in general, that you progressively get better as a team?
Of course, and
last
other
year-
teams want to get better.
Last year, when they'd be finishing top four, we'd be going right now. Their top floor would players leave. I think it's the same conversation. I think it's if they had the chance to leave, they would have done it last season. They've now improved, got better. Now finished second. They'd be thinking a lot of these players, I can win the league next year.
The players don't care about the club. Don't get it wrong. They won't care about the club. They care about themselves and their family and the money they're earning.
But I think they would look at it as a sign of, when you think about their main competition is probably in Chelsea. that Chelsea, I think they're going to be in that boat where a lot of their players will go. Because people like Hazard are going to be seeing themselves as number 1 or 2 in the world now.
I think Chelsea are more likely to lose players than Spurs are. If you were sort of totting it up,
So I think Spurs
for example, if Real Madrid came in and wanted an attacking midfielder, I think they're more likely to get Hazard than Ali.
Yeah.
I think he'd be cheaper as well, to be honest with you.
And I think he would go.
Yeah. I was going to just have a little chat about Spurs for next season, but we spent a lot of time on them already. Let's talk about Arsenal for next season. Do you think the statement I just made is ridiculous? Or do you think that genuinely, it's a huge if, they can keep hold of Sanchez with no Champions League, can they make a genuine title challenge with Wenger?
Like you say,
no.
It has been. Leicester done it. God, of course Arsenal can do it.
The not being in Europe is a massive advantage. It's been shown for the last 2 years. But it's still Wenger's team. It's still Wenger's way of managing.
You make a good point. They are the underdogs, so the mentality does change for Arsenal and the players within Arsenal. So they'll probably fight back next year, and they're professional footballers, right? They're sportsmen. They want to win. They've got that fighting mentality. They're not just going to give up next year. So perhaps this is what they needed, just a bit of a wake up call to all the players.
Maybe.
And maybe they can push on next year. You just don't know, do you?
I mean, who thought Chelsea were going to be as dominant in the early stages as they were this year?
Yeah, you're right.
Even if you fancied them to win the title, did you think they were going to run away with it? That's because they didn't have Europe.
I
I think
thought they were an average team.
I think Arsenal could use it to their advantage, but if you actually look at them, Arsenal's title challenges end around between December and February. So by that time, they've already played their group games in the Champions League, so it doesn't hinder them at that early stage. Whereas Chelsea and obviously Leicester used it to their advantage, having those breaks. Arsenal it doesn't matter to them. It's that something psychologically happens to them halfway through the season where they can't maintain it. They go out of Europe early every season, so it's not a problem with them getting to like the semi-finals or anything. So, what is the problem? That's the question, isn't it? That's the $1 million question. I don't know what it is. I think I've said it this season, early doors this season. I fancied them to be challenging Chelsea all season. I really thought they could do it this year.
Every season they have loads of injuries. That doesn't help.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think it's, for me personally, it's one of them things that you get a couple of different kind of people, and it strives from their leader that, some people who, when the pressure's not on them, they can do really well, and they'll win games because it's normal. As soon as the pressure hits them, it's like they can't handle that. It's like they don't have someone who's able to reassure them to say, guys, we've been brilliant all season, you're going to win this game.
Yeah,
it's like they get to that point and they're like, shit, actually, if I win a couple more, we might lose now.
What does that pressure look like, though, in terms of being an Arsenal player now?
It looks
what
like
does it
fourth.
Look like? So the pressure on them is to what?
To win the league. I think as soon as they start...
What, now? They can't
Not
win
now,
the league,
no. So there isn't any pressure. I think the pressure of this was the Tottenham finishing above them.
Yeah. It
And
was always going to
Tottenham,
happen anyway.
but Tottenham
now it's
genuinely
locked in.
were better. But I think that didn't help them. And when they started, going under the cosh, they couldn't recover from it. Their players psychologically this season aren't as good, are they?
No.
That's a fact. Even Sanchez has dropped off of the
I just think their
radar
players aren't
completely,
as
really.
good. Outside of Sanchez and Ozil, who have they got?
Well,
You're right.
Ozil was made the scapegoat yet again for this game. Arsenal
thought he had
Spurs.
an all right game.
But he did.
worse than
But
anyone
the
else.
media have made it like
because he looks so lethargic. He's got that what do you call it, the Berbatovs about him, and he just doesn't.
But he
look like
was,
he's
weren't he?
showing effort,
When he
is.
got skinned and he went to ground and he just laid there, like rather than get up and win that ball back, he just laid on the floor. It's just like that's not a winner's mentality.
They need some sort of leadership in that team. I think that's key. So I suppose it depends on what
They
happens
don't
in
have
the summer. whether
they
can
really lack a Vieira.
big time. Yeah.
We lose every week. You're nothing special. We lose every week.
You're listening to the Fantasy Footy Pod. Join our cash league at fantasyfootypod.com/windows.
Let's move on around London to Chelsea. They've negotiated their hardest fixture remaining very, very easily. 3-0. Did anyone expect it? I expected this to be maybe a draw.
I saw it at half time. It was 0-0 still, wasn't it?
It was about an hour, the first goal.
I was expecting that. I was expecting it was tight. One of the teams nick it 1-0 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't expect 3-0.
This has got to be one of the hardest Premier League away fixtures in the Premier League.
Sure.
To go to Everton.
They showed Everton's home record before the game, and it was 8 straight wins, and very few conceded. The most they conceded in the game was 3, but in that game they scored 6.
It's a huge
in every
win.
other game there was
Again-
0, 1 or 2.
Again, though, Chelsea last time I played Everton, I think won 5-0.
Oh, they smashed them, yeah.
So
one of the
like,
performances
it's
of
kind
the
of that
season.
thing again. As an Everton player, you're thinking, hang
Yeah.
on, we got absolutely dick last time.
No,
I did.
Everton won 4-0 against it.
Oh, did they?
Oh, no, that was against
No,
City.
no,
Sorry.
they-
Stamford
they
Stamford
lost
Bridge
5-0.
was 5-0.
Stamford
Yeah.
Bridge, yeah, it was
Yeah.
brilliant performance as well. Pedro again as well in that game scored 2, I think, in this game.
I mean, that was a belter
beauty.
of a goal.
Beautiful.
But Chelsea in general looked brilliant in the second half.
They've
they
just
did.
confirmed the title for me. I think that was a key win.
Let's talk about Lukaku for a second. I think we don't give a lot of airtime to Chelsea, but we know it's kind of a procession for them at this point. They're definitely going to win the title now. Strange, Lukaku just doesn't turn up in the big games. 24 goals this season, and against United recently, in the Mersey derby recently, and now to a team where he's likely looking like he might go next season. Another shocking performance.
He was well unlucky to score, though.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't seem to do enough. Where, for example, Harry Kane. Okay, Harry Kane, you might say, is a similar sort of striker, very physical, gets into good positions, but he makes the chances for himself a lot of the time. Kane does. With the obviously support cast he's got, there's a lot more attacking prowess in the Spurs team, but. The way he drags players out of the way, the way he kind of bullies defenders. Lukaku doesn't seem to do that enough in the big games.
Yeah, but the problem is in the big games, Everton are completely under pressure. They've got no possession, and Lukaku is basically left almost doing the Vardy role, but he can't do the Vardy role, where there's 9 men behind the ball, and Lukaku just trying to run onto everything. He's not that player. So I think in the big games against. In a bigger squad, if he goes to Chelsea and he's got that support, I think he'll score loads against the big teams.
You think so, yeah?
He's got too much about his game.
Okay.
He just needs the support.
He has been quality, to be fair.
He has had a quality season, but I'm picking out a few games. I'm just trying to make a conversation about it, really. I feel the same about Hazard. I've mentioned this before.
The thing I'd say in
this
particular game is Everton were under the cosh.
Yeah.
Like from the start, Chelsea were just better. Although there was 0-0 at half time, Chelsea were in control massively, and it's hard to play as a striker when you're not getting the ball.
Yeah, if you're on your own and up against their defence plus Kante plus Matic, like what do you do?
Who was the young striker Everton had who played he played left of the attackers?
Is it Lookman?
He's got a double-barrelled name.
Oh, Calvin, something Calvert. Yeah, he's a young player just come through.
Yeah, Calvert-Lewin, is it? Something like that?
Yeah.
He looks good.
Yeah, does he?
Very unlucky not to score.
Calvert-Lewin, yeah.
He hit the post in the first half and it bounced off and Lukaku should have scored. But he looks good, taking on defenders as well.
Okay.
I'm going to pose a question
about
Chelsea and in particular Kante, Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to be in the World Player of the Year? Is he going to be in contention for the World Player of the Year?
I bet he isn't.
And is he worthy of the team? I think he is the number one midfielder right now.
I would suggest he's got a great shout of being the essential midfielder in the team of the season, UEFA Team of the Year, but he won't be up for the top 3 places.
They asked Lampard at the weekend, is there a weakness in his game? If you think about it for a moment,
Man United.
Is there a weakness?
He doesn't score double-figure goals in the season. He
doesn't score enough goals.
No,
but
that's the only thing.
He's not really that type of player, is he?
No.
His role is to allow the front 3 or 4 to score the goals.
But
he does it magnificently.
Yeah, I was going to say he never scored any goals with Leicester, really, did he?
Exactly,
when they won the league. But what he did is he didn't concede anything.
What did Lampard say, by the way?
Exactly what Lee said.
Exactly what Lee said.
Yeah.
Okay.
No weakness apart from perhaps more goals, but he's not that type of player.
The problem with the World Player of the Year standings is that they're not in the Champions League and there's no international tournament this year, so he won't be in the shortlist for that.
He needs to get the recognition, I think.
But his weakness isn't being able to score goals, banging a shot, isn't it? Like where he's so different to Lampard as a comparison. Lampard could bang a 35-yard worldie. Kante don't look like he can do that.
No, that's true.
He's done it once, I think.
But then he's got a lot more.
But then he'll win
areas
every. Yeah, I was going to say.
Was it against United where I was watching a video clip at the weekend? He basically, I think it might have been United, where he run through basically your whole defence, got to the byline. He didn't score in the end.
Scored
he
against
crossed
United.
He crossed it and it kind of deflected and nearly went in. But it just looked like Lionel Messi. I mean,
this was in the game they lost recently to United, the 2-0.
Possibly, yeah. I think it was a United game.
Right.
He
did score against United earlier in the season.
He is incredibly quick.
I think it was in the FA
But
Cup.
he's
Yeah,
quick.
he's very
He
quick.
can dribble. He can pass. He can intercept.
And he can tackle.
He's got everything.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
He's nearly a Wanyama.
I think he's second in the tackles this season. That Idrissa Gueye for Everton.
Yeah,
he's the top tackler this season. It's a pretty decent signing from Aston Villa. Kind of went under the radar a little bit, really, because obviously Villa went down and Kante won the league.
But he's still not got the same record as Kante from his Leicester season.
No.
Purely because Chelsea are on the ball more. They don't need to make as many tackles.
So he's going to be the only player ever in Premier League history to win the title with consecutively with two different
properly.
clubs.
Yeah, to do it properly. Yeah, Cantona was the last one with Leeds and then United, but that was Division 1 then Premier League.
That's a smart agent.
And then this season, in the Premier League, Mark Schwarzer, he was the reserve Chelsea goalie and then reserve Leicester goalie in consecutive seasons.
That's not the same sort of achievement.
No, it's not the same. No, he's definitely the first to do it. Actually playing a
Kante's
pivotal
been a
role.
key
but
player
also been
in the league.
Yeah,
I want to say, but also been the player of the team for both teams.
yeah.
Both seasons consecutive.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just as impressive,
Well,
isn't it?
amazing,
Mahrez
yeah.
got it over him, didn't he? Player of the year.
But
But
if
when you
for
look at
me,
what he's done this
yeah.
year,
I think a lot of
actually,
people thought he should have been Kante last season though as
Yeah.
well. You know, it's like Leo DiCaprio at the Oscars. You
It's
know,
hard.
he
It's
never-
hard
Didn't quite get it for a
yeah.
couple of years, and he made an all right film, and he wins it because he should have won it before.
to go to another team and be as good as you were.
Yeah.
Normally hard, isn't it? Like,
Yep.
And by all accounts, I didn't see the footage, but apparently when his name was read out, like everyone's made up for him. Apparently he's a really really nice bloke. His new teammates love him just as much as Leicester. He was at a Leicester game, wasn't he, a little while ago?
Yeah.
Saw him in the stands. Like everyone loves this guy. He's
He's
a
a
really
kind
nice
of
bloke.
unassuming character.
that
I
was a
guess.
meme,
exactly,
though,
yeah.
weren't it? That
Yeah.
he'll even make it. What was it?
He's everywhere. He's at every ground. Or
Yeah.
something. I can't remember exactly what it was.
He'll still
yeah.
get back to tackle.
Isn't he even in Margate? Or was that someone else we saw in Margate the other day?
That's Mo Farah.
You're Mo Farah. Okay, all right.
I liked what Pogba said about him.
What did
actually.
Pogba say?
Well, he was just like congratulating him. You know, he's a really nice guy. He's like two players, and this is the record transfer. You know, the
Yeah.
pressure's all on him to be that player.
Yeah. Right, let's have a look at Manchester. Generally, the Manchester clubs. What are you going to say,
On
Mike?
the map.
Can we
Not on the map.
talk
Can we-
about the fan of both clubs that we found on the internet earlier?
Oh god, yeah. We were looking around on Twitter earlier and we found someone who called themselves a football junkie, and they said a heart next to City and United, and they had the badges reversed.
I'm
Man
going to say
United
this
on the
is,
City
It was
badge.
the colours of the badges were reversed.
I'm
Yeah.
going to say this as
and-
blatant
yeah.
as possible. He's that kind of wanker that's in the stadium who wears one of them shirts that's half and half.
Half and half scarves, yeah.
Or, and I've sent the video to share this, hopefully you guys have seen it, that guy who's watching the African Cup final and he's got both shirts
Oh
on.
yeah, I have seen that.
And then his team loses and he takes it off. And
Takes
has
it off,
the
he's got
other
the other
shirt
underneath.
That,
Brilliant.
that
That's
guy knows
brilliant.
what he's doing.
Do you know,
that
I
guy's a
went
winner.
Listeners will know, you got to know, I went to Leicester the other week and I got a half and half scarf. I didn't wear it, but I got it as a little bit memorabilia because I don't go to a lot of games. I thought
So
it's
you're
quite
that
cool.
wanker.
But I didn't wear it.
Don't lie.
Brad, Mel's my other half's brother and brother-in-law, he wore it, and I kind of said to him, "You can't do that. Proper fans don't do that." He didn't understand. You won't be listening. I love Brad. He's a cool guy. Okay, let's talk about Manchester clubs. Let's talk about the two penalties. I know, Lee, you haven't seen all the footage, have you? But are you aware of what happened, guys? But in both games, in the first game. Sorry, no, it was the other way around. It was on Match of the Day. It was reversed. In actual real life, Man United played first, but on Match of the Day, they showed Man City first. Either way, Sane dived fairly blatantly for the Middlesbrough to make it 1-1, and then Rashford in the United game dived. The thing was, in both cases, there was contact, but in both cases, the player leaned into that contact. And in the Middlesbrough case, I've never seen such. What do you call the word? Like subordination, like the way that the defenders ran at the referee to say no. And that's when I think the ref could sort of think, Jesus, I've made a mistake here. Because there's just the way that all of the defence ran up to him. Was it Fabio, the old United? He's at Middlesbrough, and Fabio was going mental, ignoring his captain and just running at the ref. I'm surprised he didn't get sent off, to be honest. But yeah, what do you make of it?
It just happens. It happens a lot now.
Would you have given the pens, being that there was contact? Or do you think they both...
We've seen video footage. We weren't
They're-
the referee.
Yeah, for
So-
me it's too easy because they're terribly bad decisions.
No, but okay, in a season or 2 or 3's time, there's going to be video footage replays, and both of those show there was contact. So do you think that both of them would have been given if there were video replays?
You've got to allow contact in football. It can't just be, he's touched me in the penalty box, I go down.
The contact in both cases was engineered by the attacking player, leaning into the defensive player. So I'm saying.
So then it's not a penalty.
Okay. Do you think that?
It's
You-
the
you
it's
see it, Michael,
it's
you think-
Vardy case all over again. He just throws his legs into
He
a
does
player
do
and
that.
go down.
He's
He
great
does
at
it
it.
every time.
He's absolutely brilliant.
And he
at
cons the ref every time. He should get banned for it.
Given, sorry, Michael, what are you going to say?
Nothing.
You don't have an opinion on the video referees?
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting you make a comment on video referees because how do they decide what is a penalty, what is not a penalty, and what questions are going to be posed by the referee to the fourth official who's looking at the video in order to discover whether it's a penalty or not? Is there going to be something underwritten like if the attacking player makes the movement towards the defender or the defender. What's underwritten there to make it a clear-cut penalty decision?
I suppose the first question would be: is there contact? Yes, but and then there's an asterisk next to it, isn't there? So I suppose that has to be clear. But if the contact is engineered or whatever,
I think the referee has to pose a question, and if the answer to that question is thumbs up or thumbs down, decides whether it's a penalty or not.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
the fourth official can't. The fourth official can't make the decision on whether it's a penalty or not.
Okay.
It has to be the referee. Yes, no
and
question.
It has to be black and white, a yes or a no.
Yeah.
Not a yes, but. Yeah, I think you're right, and I think, given video referees, both of those penalties would still been given because there was contact.
But it depends on the question.
It depends on the question. You're absolutely right.
Has the attacker leaned into?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Given that City dropped points, as United fans around the table, it's obviously quite disappointing that United didn't capitalise. However, of course, being that it was United played first, had United won, it might have been very different for City. They might have smashed that game. But little comment about Wayne Rooney. Obviously scored the goal, but I watched the highlights and I didn't really notice that much about it. But I read a report this morning from what's his name, Samuel Luckhurst. I think he writes for the MEN. He writes for a lot about Man United, and he was very scathing. He sort of said that he offered nothing. It literally might have been better for United to have had 10 men in that game.
He's starting to get negative media as well outside of football. I think this is his demise, rather.
Another thing about drinking out late or something went there this week.
With a brunette or something.
I mean, we've said for a while we think that it's over for him. I'm surprised he's actually come back in, but obviously with United's fixtures piling up and the injuries that are coming in and out of the team, it's maybe not that surprising. But
it'll be a real surprise to see him still there next season.
Yes.
For Man City, though, he's us back.
Jesus Christ, he scores in every game, didn't he? I didn't mean to say Jesus Christ like a pun there. but he scores in every game he plays. Even against United, he put the ball in there.
Did he score?
Yeah. 85th minute.
He got the goal.
He scored the equaliser.
Because when I looked at the flash scores, it was Navas it went down for.
Is that his first game back?
No, it's definitely Jesus.
They must have just made a mistake.
Jesus Navas, yeah, Jesus. It was his first game back was the United game.
Oh yeah, of course.
But Cameron was a sub in that game.
Yeah.
Scored, but it was offside, rightly offside. But yeah, in this
Dream
game,
team shout maybe
again.
going forward, because Aguero picked up a little bit of a knock as well.
Yeah, maybe. Let's have a little comparison here between Jesus and Rashford. Both 19. Rashford obviously has gone slightly colder than he started, but no, I mean he doesn't score in every game. That's what I mean, Wes. But do you think that it's more like Jesus is going to go the same way? It's this early burst, and then defenders are going to figure him out, and they'll defend the way that they're defending against Rashford now.
He can score though.
Rashford went like 19 games this season without a goal, didn't he? Something crazy like that.
I think that's different. You're a striker. You want a striker who can score. Like it sounds like a
course.
Michael Owen comment, but
Jesus is scoring in every game, the same as Rashford did in his early career at United, beginning at the middle of last season when he came into the team.
But I for me personally, at the moment, because I rate Rashford. Don't get me wrong. I think he does everything Rashford can do, even now, but score goals as well.
But as well as goals,
Rashford seems to lack the Harry Kane instinct of. I was watching something of Harry Kane the other day, and he was at someone's in. I think it was. I can't remember who was interviewing. It was Thierry Henry and Harry Kane who was doing an interview, and he was talking. Well, how do you know? What's your favourite part of the goal? How do you know? Do you think it's natural? A natural instinct whether you score or not? And Harry Kane was saying that his favourite thing to do is look at the bottom corner because it's the hardest place. If you look at the top, you're more likely to miss it, right? So go for the bottom corner. Okay. And I think it's just a natural instinct. Maybe not a natural instinct. You're not born with it, but practice at scoring simple goals.
Yeah.
I don't think Rashford's done that enough.
I think you're right, and it's funny, you see it all the time, and Lee and Wes, you play a lot of Sunday League, and maybe you could sort of confirm this, but I remember when I used to play...
Can't shoot, mate, I wouldn't know.
When you take a snapshot, it's sort of central, because I suppose it's just it's what you're aiming at, whereas watching Zlatan, for example, and Harry Kane's great at this as well, but Zlatan in particular this season, every shot he takes is in the corner. It rarely shoots straight at the goalie.
The thing I would comment on, I think this is probably why you're right, Rossi, is that when you think about your shot, like genuinely thinking about putting it somewhere, it will never go where you choosing to go. In my opinion, like I think if it's
get
natural,
better at that over time.
But if it's natural, if you're practicing it all the time and it becomes a natural thing,
right?
When you pick up that ball and shoot, it will go where you're practicing to do it all the time because you've taught your body to do that so many times.
It's crazy, like going to Sunday League level where we are, that you can pass to someone and you can be accurate 9 out of 10 times, like right to their feet, but then you try and shoot and you're 5 yards off target. It's just like what's the difference apart from a little bit extra power?
It's the practice of it. I think you're right.
That's the worry for Rashford, is the fact that he's not scoring goals on a regular basis. And what they've tried to, what Man City have tried to do with Sterling is work on his striking ability, scoring goals. What's happened? He's not scoring any more goals.
Yeah.
And when he does, when he has a shot, he's shooting straight at the goalie or he's going wide.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Just some players don't practice enough. Maybe Sterling's a little bit too old now. Maybe it's something you need to learn when you're
the youth, at the
6,
academy level.
7, 8, 9 years old.
I'd say so. I think like a bit of that for United is like Martial is probably in the same sort of boat. Like, he can score a worldie, but he doesn't score enough. And I think maybe in training he looks brilliant when he's running at people. And Mourinho probably goes, you know what? You're what we want as a winger. You just can't. You haven't got the end product, so don't play you up front. And I just wonder. We do lack that, because it's true, isn't it? You look at Ibra and you go, how can he score so many goals? It's because he can shoot. He knows how to shoot.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's really weird to.
And you got to hit them corners. You got to get it away, or you got to get a lucky ricochet sometimes.
That is different. That's why when Kane, you use him as a person, you kind of say, how can he do it so much? It's because he knows how to naturally do it.
He's the shearer, isn't it? Very rarely does a Thierry Henry come along, and you'd want Rashford to grow into a Thierry Henry, wouldn't you? Or even better. But whether that will come over time, you just don't know. For me, it's not there right now.
I do rate him. He has got a lot of ability, clearly. It's whether he can.
Yeah.
Jesus' link-up play, though, is what is so good. If you actually watch him, he's not just a quick attacking player that can get goals. He sits off, he holds the ball up. He's like a natural number 9 with the ability to play as an attacking wide player. He gets the ball into his feet, he lays it off, he gets himself back in the box, and he scores goals.
It's remarkable how quickly he's kind of come
and for how young he is.
And exactly.
And a big injury.
He could genuinely be the next best thing. Now Messi and Ronaldo are like losing their edge.
Let's just finish off the Premier League and talk about United's injuries. Something quite telling. I saw a match of the day. Luke Shaw went down, as we know, after 8-9 minutes. Rooney went over to him. Obviously, you don't know what they're saying, but Rooney walked away from him, shaking his head. I just wonder about Luke Shaw. I wonder if he's got the Daniel Sturridges about him.
What, injured again?
Injured and unwilling to play through that pain barrier when the team clearly is already massively depleted.
That's one thing you can say about Rooney, isn't it? He might not be in good form.
That's it.
He'll play 90 minutes through pain if he has to.
Exactly. I worry. And obviously Bailey went off in the end, which with what looked like could have been a hamstring. If he's out for the rest of the season, then we've got real trouble with Smalling and Jones already out. We've literally got 0 centre-backs in the team.
Blind and maybe Carrick.
Didn't Blind go off as well?
Yeah.
Was that just
no, Blind played. He played.
Oh,
he went to centre back when Darmian came on to go full back.
Do you not feel a little bit of for sure? Don't you feel sorry for him a little bit? I mean, the guy 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, whatever, he had someone come in at the side of him and challenge him and break his leg. Right? Mentally, perhaps he's a little bit shot in the fact that he feels a little niggle. He doesn't want that to happen again.
Of course, it can take a while.
He's been out for so long.
That's only this season, wasn't it?
It was
last season.
Last
sorry.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas last season.
That will limit your ability to be good again.
Yeah,
but he needs to overcome that. Maybe it's like a mental block, isn't it?
For me, Aaron Ramsey had that. He was out with a big injury, went in with a broken leg, and it took him a season to really get his confidence back.
Yeah.
And then he started playing really well again.
Yeah. It's a strange one. I don't, I think that Mourinho's all about the here and now, getting points on the board immediately, getting titles immediately, and I just don't see him as a Mourinho player if he doesn't sort himself out. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe it is a genuine, serious injury. Who knows? But
look at his form before his broken leg. Just for those few games at the start of the season,
yeah, him and Darmian.
He was amazing.
Fantastic on the wings. We don't want to go through the other games. Only to say really that Sunderland went down. We knew it was happening. We knew it was coming.
It's just official now.
Shocking.
The only good thing to come of that is we'll see Defoe in the Premier League again.
Will we?
Yeah.
You think he'll stay? I hope so. I hope he doesn't stay at Sunderland. I think
he'll come up with a team coming up probably.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think so too.
Well, West Ham looked at him, didn't they, in January?
Yeah, that'd be a shout. Yeah, top player, and that I think even is more of a nail in the coffin for Moyes, that you've got a player like that and you're still getting relegated.
Moyes willing to stay on though. He is willing to stay on. I don't think he should have the will. To be fair,
I agree with you.
He literally sits in. I know we're digressing a bit. He sits in that chair like someone who's bored to watch his team.
He's a Steve McLaren.
Even before it started, he's like,
"Oh, got to sit through this again."
9 minutes, getting £1 million.
It's awful to watch. Really awful to watch.
We should have a dartboard with those three managers: Pards, Steve McLaren, and
David Moyes. Big DM.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want pictures of them up in this office. I've got to work in here every day, thanks.
Check out our website, fantasyfootypod.com.
Right, let's move on. Let's finish off today's podcast with a bit of La Liga, I think. Michael ruined the game for me. Thank you very much. I had it on pause, went shopping. 11 minutes into the game, we all know what happened. Messi scored a worldie to finish the game with. And 11 minutes in, Michael puts in our group chat, Messi, oh my God, what a goal. Brilliant. Yeah, thanks. Ruined it for me. Ruined the whole game for me because I knew it was coming.
I could have been lying. As a bit of a swerve.
Can we just take a step back, as we do every week with these ridiculous FIFA footballers? Messi scoring his 500th goal, which was the winning goal in that game. And then later in the week, Ronaldo scored his 367th league goal, which puts him ahead of anyone else in the top 6 leagues in Europe now, which was a record held by Jimmy Greaves. I mean, it's insanity, isn't it?
They've taken it to a new level, and they've both taken goal scoring to the absolute next
I just find,
step.
you get some people, you see it on Facebook, all these memes and stuff, and I used to love Batistuta, and I loved Ronaldo, R9, loved those players. I think they were wonderful. And
I even like players like Vieri, and they've scored goals.
Yeah. And when you look back, even at Zidane, the great story came out this week, wasn't it, about Messi? The only player who's ever asked the shirt of, actually physically gone up to and asked, was Zidane. Never asked before. Ever. He always gets asked, obviously. But it's enough. Like, if we were picking right now, if you're picking an 11 of the best players ever, obviously those two are going to be in it.
Have to.
Like, there's no argument anymore, is there? It's crazy how far ahead of. And okay, you might say, oh, Maradona did this, or Zidane did this, or Ronaldinho. Yeah, for 2 seasons, these guys have done it for the best part of a decade. It's unbelievable.
The league's got really close again now.
It has to be fair.
Same points, I think.
They're same points.
One game behind Real Madrid.
Yeah. But it goes head to head, doesn't it?
Real Madrid were about 8 points ahead at one point, weren't they?
They were really far ahead, yeah. But they had a tricky away tie in Valencia this weekend, 1-2-1.
It's almost the same as saying Chelsea just beat Everton. It could be the game that clinches the city.
Yeah, did I read it right that Tony Adams was Granada's coach and they got relegated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they were already something like 18 points away from safe. That ridiculous away. They were already going down.
I watched one interview with Tony Adams a few weeks ago, like post match.
Yeah.
And it was just like, he actually sounds quite dim.
You know full well he bought himself a little booze pad over there, didn't he?
Oh mate, what a gig! What a gig that is! It's unbelievable.
Like, I popped out of bed over the weekend.
Yeah, they're playing Real Madrid this season still. Yeah, Tony Adams is going to manage a team against Real Madrid in this season.
Yeah, but Tony Adams he was such a top player. It's not that much of a surprise.
Probably the worst best player to go become a manager. Does that make sense?
He also played against Ronaldo.
Did he?
No.
Oh. No, but it's mental that he's the manager over in Spain now. I just can't believe it.
So was Big Nev, to be fair, though.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Shout out for the Spanish teams. The league seems to be getting a lot stronger. It's not just...
Yeah.
It was since Gary Neville left as well. Now Valencia are actually smashing it, aren't they?
That's because Gary Neville put in the roots.
He did.
So Barcelona and Real Madrid are actually struggling to get results, and they're losing to a lot and drawing to a lot of.
They're also winning 5 and 6-0 quite regularly as well.
I mean,
only against like
8-1.
Ibar and the really
after the midweek games after the Clasico were 6-2 to Real Madrid and 7-0 to Barcelona.
Yeah. Would you?
But I understand your point. You are
but
right.
like that section of teams, like 4 or 5
it's not
teams
just top 2 now. It's 5
Seville,
6 competing.
Barcelona have got something like a plus 72 goal difference. Would they do that in the Premier League?
Jesus Christ, they've scored 104 goals with 4 games still to play.
I don't think they get to that level.
Ridiculous.
When you put in a comparison, I think Chelsea have scored 75.
Have they? Yeah, that's about right.
No, they scored 71. Sorry, and Tottenham scored 70. I think.
Okay. Talk about these teams though, right?
As well.
But you look at the Arsenal Bayern Munich. They did them 5-1 both games.
That's because Arsenal are bottlers. We know that.
But they
wouldn't have done that against
5-1 every week.
They wouldn't have done that against any of the other top
United,
Premier League teams.
Man City, do they? I mean,
no. So what you're saying that these elite European teams are far ahead of the English teams?
Maybe they are at the moment. Yeah.
But then Atletico didn't
perhaps Chelsea
goals in against.
We haven't seen Chelsea against a Barcelona, Real Madrid, or a Bayern Munich this year.
It'll be interesting to see next season, I think, with what we're saying about Spurs. And I think the difficult thing with Spurs is obviously the Wembley thing again. and playing all their games there. They've got to get over this quick. But I think they could have a real tilt at the Champions League. But they've got to perform in these big games. Got to. Like, if you were to say it right now, like if you're thinking about what we've said, we've waxed lyrical about Spurs in this particular podcast. Spurs against Real Madrid. I mean, they're not going to get done 5-1. They probably would lose the game, I think, but they're not a million miles behind them in man for man. If you really look at it,
they're closer than you would expect them to be.
Yeah. I think they could have a real shout next season at the Champions League. Genuinely.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so we're going to finish this up. We're going to wrap this up. Double game weeks coming up, guys. Any scout tips from any of you? What are you thinking? Arsenal have got double game week for the next 2 weeks. You're not fancying Arsenal at all?
No.
The next game's against United, to be fair. So
they have got to make a push for top 4. So
they've got to do something, surely, to finish the season strong.
Yeah, but the second week they're away to Stoke, home to Sunderland. So
I've planned
that's probably not bad.
I've planned my triple captain for that week. I've taken players out this week. I dropped Lukaku, brought in Gabbiadini, put myself a few mil in the bank so I can get some high-profile players.
I dropped Lukaku too.
Did you?
For Aguero, and it paid off, obviously.
Okay, nice one. All right, a lot of football coming up, guys. So let's leave it where it is. I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you very much for joining us, as always. What are you saying, Lee? You look like you're going to say
as always,
Nothing else to add?
I just don't like that you don't like my singing. Like
I don't like your singing.
When we have little breaks and
You need to
I have a
stop.
little sing.
You need to stop. No one wants to hear that.
I think the viewers want to hear it.
Sing us off. Sing
Please
us goodbye.
don't. Please don't.
Be
Thanks for joining
champions.
us. Thanks for joining us, listeners.
Bye.
Goodbye.
You can get us on Fantasy Footy Pod on social media. And we'll catch you next week.
Bye, Fancy Footy Pod.